All righty. Okay, this is Prophet Rawa B. This is Prophet Rawa B coming to you, family prophet to the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, who are Israelites. Yeah, I took been working on a car and remodeling a room in my house. And as I was meditating, I was thinking, I have a acquaintance who uh, I have an acquaintance who we had a little argument, and I was telling him that it's no way he happens to be a Caucasian. I happen to tell him that it's no way that he's going to get into the kingdom without going through Israel, and he was incensed. He was incensed. What you mean? Christ is the door. Oh, okay, all right. All right, brother, sir. So he was saying that, why do you make Israel about everything? I'm like, because they are. For the other nations, they are everything. He's like, it's almost like you're making, he told me this. He said, it's almost like you're making Israel the door of salvation when Jesus is the door of salvation. And you have to think, when Caucasian people and so-called African American people say Jesus, they're thinking of a white man. So in their mind, they're thinking that you're trying to overthrow white supremacy, even if they don't consciously know that. Subliminally, that's what they're saying. And so what I do is deal with the subliminal objections that they have. And they don't even suspect. I deal with those things. Look at this. I'm going to go to a very easy place that I dealt with him on this. He said, why do you say that Israel, you're not going to receive salvation if you don't go through Israel? I'll show you. No nation is going to be able to worship the Most High if they don't go through Israel. It's no way, y'all. It's no way. I'll prove it from the Bible. Now, a lot of people accuse me, a lot of Israelites condemn me for saying stuff like, condemn me and try to label me as a Christian. You ain't never heard no Christian talk like me. You never heard a Christian talk like me. Stop it. Never. That's why when I was rolling with the Christians, they couldn't even stand me. They couldn't stand me. And very few people who label me as a Christian could say that about themselves when they were Christians. They can't. They fit it in nice and snug like a bug in a rug when they were Christians. I didn't, y'all. I was a militant when I was a Christian. Okay? They couldn't stand me because I had a spirit of an Israelite. And I'm not talking about these guys standing on the corner. I'm talking about of the Most High. That's the spirit I had. So let's go to the Bible then. Let's go to Revelation chapter 21. And let's look at something very simple. This proves that no nation is going to be able to worship the Most High if they don't go through Israel. You might as well forget it. You are damned. And a lot of the nations that hate us, even in our fallen state, they don't even know that they're heaping upon themselves coals of damnation. They don't even know it. A lot of our people who are Israelites don't even know that. They are sealing their damnation on, on every level. Look at this, y'all. Revelation chapter 21, verse 13. I read, on the east gate, on the north gate, on the south gate, and on the west gate, and the walls of the city had 12 foundations. Come on, y'all. I mean, I'm killing this thing already. Let's start at verse 12. And had a wall great and high, and 12 gates. At the gates, 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. So if there are 12 names on the 12 gates, and these are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, Yashra'al, Prince of the Power, with Yahuwah, with Yahuwah, and over all nations. If that's the name of heaven, how are you going to get in without going through Israel? How can you get into Israel? See, they're doomed, y'all. Nobody, no nation is going to be able to be saved without going through these slaves. Oh boy, bars. Ooh. None of the nations that held us as slaves are going to be saved if they don't bow down before the slaves. They're not. No, you're not going to be able to worship the Most High if you hate his children. What's that? Let me see. 1 John 4:6. You can't do it, y'all. You're going to get into heaven, but you hate the children of heaven. The children of heaven are the children of Israel that are born again. You can't even get in. You think that you're going to be able to just go through Yehoshua and bypass his children. No, the access point to Yehoshua is going to be his children. Oh boy. Lift up your, oh boy, watch this. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall go in. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. That's what the Psalms say. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and Yehoshua will come in. The gates is the children of Israel. Wow. The gates is the children of Israel. You can't even get into the kingdom if you don't go through us. Oh boy. You can't even live with the Most High for eternity if you don't go through the gates he set up. How do you think when he said, I go and prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. The gates he was setting up is the nation of Israel. The place that he went to prepare is called New Jerusalem. Yeah, you can't even get in. So all these Caucasian evangelicals out there thinking they can get into heaven and they're going to be raptured away and all this stuff, guess what? They're going to be raptured into hell. You got to go through us. You got to go through us, y'all. That's just the way the Most High set the gates up. In order to get into the gates, you got to go through the gates. Oh, now I could preach that. That's some preaching material right there. That's some Baptist preaching material right there. You know what the Most High is going to tell the nations, y'all? He going to say, they're going to ask him, when did we see you hungry? When did we see you naked? When did we see you poor? When did we see you in slavery? And guess what he's going to say to them? He's going to say, when you done it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. Oh. Yeah. That the way you treated my children, that is what was going to qualify on whether or not, or disqualify on whether or not you get into the kingdom or not. Oh. When I was naked, you didn't clothe me, nations. When I was hungry, you didn't clothe me, nations. Yeah, the strict application of that parable is to the nation of Israel. But the loose application is how the other nations treated us. So as I was talking to an acquaintance, I was telling him, he was shocked. He's like, what? He didn't say it, but I saw in his eyes, in his spirit, he was like, oh boy, you telling the truth. He's like, man, how are you going to be able to get into the heaven and you don't go through one of the 12 tribes? It's no way. It's no way. And let me show you this in John 10. Let me show you this in John, what John says in John 10. Verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door, he that entereth not by the door, he that entereth not by the gate. Listen, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way. See, all of the Christian churches, all of the Christian white supremacy churches, even with the ones with the black ones in it, they're trying to get in. They have been conditioned and trained to get in to the kingdom some other way. You can't get into the kingdom without going through these black folks that y'all been slaving. You can't even get in. You can't get in, my friend. You can't get into the kingdom without going through the slaves. Listen to this. Verily, verily, I say unto you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door, but in the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way. Climb up how? Through Christianity, Pentecostalism, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah Wickedness, TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar. You're trying to climb up some kind of other way. Eddie Long. But he that climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. Y'all, these other nations are not going to be able to get into the kingdom without going through Israel. We are the prince of the power in the earth. We are the prince and the prince of the power in the earth. We are the gods in the earth, the authorized gods in the earth. I don't know how you're going to be able to get into the kingdom without going past us. I don't know how you're going to get into the kingdom without going past our women, our men, our children, our grandparents. You can't get in, y'all. You can't get in. So all you Caucasians out there and all you other nations that's out there, that's trying to get into the kingdom some other kind of way, guess what? You're going to have to recognize there is no other way. That's why Yehoshua said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14:6. Yehoshua said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto me, unto the Father, but by me. Now, when we read this, we forget all about Israel. But let me show you this scripture here. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5. I want to make this connection for you. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 5. For though there be that are called gods, little g, whether in heaven or in earth. Yeah, so there are gods in the earth. A plurality of gods in the earth. Watch this. As there be gods many and lords many. But watch this, verse 6. But for us, it ain't talking about Christians, y'all. It's talking about Israelites. But for us, the Israelites, there is but one Elohim, big G. For us, the nation of Israel, there's only one God. For us, only us, only us. For the rest of the nations, they have many gods. How do we know that? Because the nation of Israel are the authorized gods over all other nations that's going to come under the law of the Most High. We are their gods. So in verse 5, where it says, for though there be that are called gods, the Israelites, John 10:34, Psalms 82:6. Who else? Zechariah chapter 12, I think, verse 8. Though there be those that are called gods, the Israelites, whether in heaven or in earth, and there be gods many and lords many, the nation of Israel, but to us, the Israelites, there is but one Elohim. Just like it says in the Shema over in Deuteronomy 6. But to us, the Israelites, there is but one God. We don't have many gods. All the other nations, they have many gods. Why? Because there are many tribes and many nations in the nation of Israel. Like the Bible says in Deuteronomy, I think Genesis chapter 17. All those tribes represent a nation of gods for the other nations to get up under. Anybody don't want to get up under us, guess what? They already damned. I don't care how much they sing hymns and read their, no, you're lost. You're the damned. But to us, there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Mashiach Yahuwah, by whom are all things, and we by him. When it's talking about we, it's talking about Israelites. So when you've done it to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. When you have done it to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it to me. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25, verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, is the nation of Israel. And before him he shall gather all nations. See, listen to the imagery. He's going to sit on the throne of his glory, and guess what he's going to do? And the Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory, and all the holy angels with him. Then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him he shall gather all nations. Before him, before Israel. Remember, he's sitting on the throne of his glory. So before Israel, he's going to gather all nations. And before him he shall gather all nations, and shall separate the one from the other, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. For I was hungry, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Yahuwah, when saw we thee hungry, and fed thee, and thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Notice that none of this sounds like chattel slavery. None of it. Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? The king shall answer and say unto them, who is them? The nations that he gathered before him and separated them. Then shall the king answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these. Remember, in Deuteronomy, it says that we was going to be below only and not above. The tail and not the head. That's the least of these when we went into captivities. Then shall he say unto them on his left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed. So all these Christian denominations, they're going to hell. All the Christian denominations are going to hell. That don't mean every single person in the denomination is going to hell, but the vast majority of them are just fodder for damnation. That's it. For I was an hungry, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. In other words, we didn't have our own businesses. We didn't have our own multinational corporations. Then they also answered and saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungry, or thirsty, or stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister to thee? This is what the Most High is going to say to the other nations. Not just the Israelites who did this, but to the nations who did this to the nation of Israel when they were in captivity. Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch ye have done it to the least of these, ye did it not to me. Wow. and these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. See? So I just wanted to let you know, there's not going to be any salvation for any nation without them going through Israel. Forget about it. Remember, most Christians are trying to get into where? Heaven. The thing that Christians don't realize, heaven is the Israelites. It's the place where the Israelites live. Another way to describe it, heaven is the ghetto. Guess what ghetto means, y'all? Ghetto means, Google it. Ghetto means the place where the Jews live. That's what the ghetto is. That's what heaven is. It's the place where the Jews live. So all these people that down in the ghetto, guess what? Their ultimate destination, if they're Christians, is to try to live for eternity in the ghetto. Oh boy, I just killed something right there. I just messed some heads up. Israelite and Christian combined. But anyway, this is Prophet Rawanawabi. I didn't want to be on here long. I just wanted to come on here and share this word with you. You all be blessed. Take care. Comment, subscribe, share. Shalom.